solemnly swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Commonwealth of
to
Massachusetts,
the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
and I will support the Constitution thereof,
and I will support the Constitution thereof.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I, Thomas Peter Koch,
I, Thomas Peter Koch,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent upon me
all the duties incumbent upon me
as mayor of the city of Quincy,
as mayor of the city of Quincy,
according to the best of my ability
according to the best of my abilities
and understanding,
and understanding,
agreeably
to
to the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
of the Constitution
of the Constitution
and the laws of the Commonwealth
and the laws of the Commonwealth
and the ordinances of the city of Quincy,
and the ordinances of the city of Quincy.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I, Thomas Peter Koch,
I, Thomas Peter Koch,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States. Thank you, Madam Clerk. And thank you to our Master of Ceremonies, Chris Walker, my Chief of Staff, and my entire staff for your dedication and loyalty. Reverend Clergy, Mayor Sheets, Mayor Phelan, Judge Colvin, Judge Walker, Clerk Hughes, Clerk Donovan, Congressman Delahunt, members of the City Council, members of the School Committee, our constitutional officers, Leader Mariano, and our delegation from the state, District Attorney Morrissey, and our county officials, citizens of Quincy, and friends all. I do want to digress for just one moment. Last week I went over and visited Mayor Frank McCauley, who was brought him a proclamation to celebrate his 90th birthday. And I want to send my greetings out to Frank. I want to send my greetings out to Joe Larrea, former mayor who's had some major health issues. Certainly want to send my best wishes out to the Clerk Magistrate of Quincy District Court, Arthur Tobin. And I know that Bill Phelan and Jim Sheets would agree with me, we all miss Walter Hannon. What a great guy, tremendous individual, and a lot of fun to be around. Thank you, Mayor, for being here. I stand before you with a deep sense of humility and gratitude for the opportunity to continue to serve the greatest city in our Commonwealth as your mayor. I say it often, I have truly been blessed. This is the best job in the world. It is a privilege granted to me by the people of our community and made possible only through the support of family, friends, and my colleagues in government who work so hard every day on behalf of our city. My appreciation, the trust you have placed in me will never diminish. I am immeasurably blessed by my family, starting with my parents, the late Dick and Simone Koch, who instilled in me a great passion for the city and for making it a better place. My brothers and sisters, whose love and counsel I cherish most of the time. My children, Cornelius, Abigail, and Thomas, will make me incredibly proud to see the adults they have become. And to my wife, Christine, whose sacrifices and commitment to our family make everything possible. I'd also like to thank Officer Brown for leading us in the pledge. I asked Paul to join us this morning for what he represents. First, his service to our country in the Marine Corps. Secondly, as a parent of a service member. It is imperative that we remember, particularly in the uncertain times we face today, that behind every active duty service member are loved ones who must carry a burden that weighs heavily. And lastly, for his service as a police officer for the last 25 years. Today in our country, there is regrettably an often unfair portrayal of our police. The work they do, their motivations, and the risks they take on a daily basis. Not here, not on my watch. Our police officers are our neighbors, our family members, our friends. Let it be known that our community will always support and appreciate the men and women of the Quincy Police Department. On occasion, I've dedicated my remarks to an individual. Today, I offer my inaugural address in honor of firefighter John Cristiani. As some of you may know, John has been dealing with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, cancer that is prone to firefighters. John is a proud son, brother, husband, and father. He could be angry at the world, but as he says, and I quote, "I am a Quincy kid, and cancer will not define me." Not only that, but he is an inspiration to me and so many others. John is quick with a text. In fact, I got one this morning, very early, from John wishing me well this morning. He's also quick with a note, always trying to lift others up and bringing a smile to their faces. He loves his God, loves his family, and his firefighting family. Thank you, John, for being who you are. Please know of our continued prayers. As we start a new term and look to our shared future, the time of endings and beginnings in some ways, this morning, Kirsten Hughes will end her tenure as the Ward 5 City Council after deciding not to seek re-election last year. Thank you, Councilor, for your friendship, your passion, and your work on behalf of the neighborhoods you represented. Your voice will be missed in local government. I wish you every success as you pursue a new chapter in life as a clerk magistrate of the Stoughton District Court. As we wish Councilor Hughes well, we welcome Chuck Phelan as the new Ward 5 Councilor. This will be Councilor Phelan's second time on the Council, the first beginning with his election in 1987. In all, he has contributed more than 30 years to public service, a remarkable record that has included elected and appointed positions in both city and county government. Welcome back, Council. Thank you for your extraordinary service to the people of Quincy. Look forward to working with you in the coming term on the issues important to Ward 5 and the city. My friends, the future we shape at Quincy is built on a foundation of unprecedented strength. A foundation created by a spirit of collaboration and hard work by so many, including the City Council, our state delegation, and our school committee. Differences we will have, but there can be no question that our community is moving forward in the right direction in so many ways. Our strength shows in ways that are clear to see. Among the best performing schools in the state, declining crime rates, historic private investment, including the creation of nearly 10,000 jobs citywide. Property values up nearly 50% since the Great Recession. The downtown once again becoming an economic engine. Unemployment rate lower than state and national averages. The lowest poverty rate of any city, large city in Massachusetts. Our strength also shows in ways not observed through statistics. A fire in a densely populated neighborhood that is contained without serious injury and without spreading to nearby homes because of a fully staffed, well-equipped, and incredibly dedicated fire department. A flooded basement, a private home pumped out and repaired by a laborer from our Department of Public Works. A child headed down a troubled path, turned around because of a teacher or a coach, together with expanded opportunities with after-school programs and our recreation department. Our investments make a real difference today and for our future. 3 new schools, restored parks and public facilities, protected historic assets, 27 miles of rebuilt roads, and 11 miles of restored water mains in just the last 3 years. New seawalls ready for construction, a new public safety headquarters on the way. We're making a commitment to protect this community like at no time in our city's history. And we're doing it by maintaining property tax levels right around the state average. However, what we're doing is far from average. We must continue that progress. So much of our community strength that I speak of is rightly rooted in a historic focus on educating our young people that dates as far back as our founding fathers. It is why well over half of our annual budget goes toward the Quincy Public Schools. It is why today we seek to build a new special education learning center. And it is why our city fathers, some 60 years ago, started a municipal community college. Quincy College was a rarity when it opened, and today is virtually unique anywhere in America as a municipally owned institution of higher education. Quincy College is an indispensable asset to this community, and we must treat it as such. The college's challenge over the last few years, financial and otherwise, are no secret. I'm grateful for the work of Michael Bellotti towards stabilizing the college, and restoring the accreditation of the once thriving nursing degree program. And I'm similarly grateful to Interim President Daniel Espino and the Board of Governors Chairman Paul Barbaduro for their work. A great deal of progress has been made, but the college's future will not be preserved overnight, and many challenges remain. Some of the issues the school faces are not unique and reflect those confronting small to mid-sized colleges in Massachusetts and across the country. The simple math is there are not enough students to fill seats at many of these places. What is unique about Quincy College is the opportunity it creates. A recent study by Georgetown University ranked Quincy College as the #1 two-year school in all of New England for student return on investment. In other words, students graduate with less debt and more earning potential than any other two-year institution in our entire region. Think about what that means for our young people, those that have an economic disadvantage compared to their peers. Think about what that means for students whose career path need not be conditioned on a 4-year degree. Think about what that means for students not quite ready for 4-year school, but who wish to continue their studies. Think about what that means at a time when so much discussion is focused on the cost of college tuition. For 6 decades, Quincy College has lifted people up, and the opportunity it creates is right here in black and white, gauged by the salaries that graduates can earn, with a tuition more affordable than almost anywhere else. I believe wholeheartedly there will always be a place in our city for Quincy College. What Quincy College needs is a place to call its own. For too long, its home has been uncertain, alternating between North Quincy and Quincy Center, its campus essentially commercial office spaces. I believe the college needs to put down roots in a permanent location, perhaps not to include every aspect of the institution, but to contain its core. That is why I will propose soon enough, to the Quincy City Council and the College Board of Governors, a plan to construct a permanent college building that would also include space for city offices. The building will consist of some 14 to 15 stories on the northern edge of the Hancock Adams Common at the site of the Monroe Building, the owner of which I have discussed this with informally. Such a building holds the potential for about 140,000 square feet for the college and about half that amount to accommodate all the city offices now housed in the 1970s glass City Hall building. In the coming years will require substantial capital investment for things like a new roof, new elevator, fire suppression systems, the replacement of a failing and extremely inefficient glass window system. Under my proposal, the college will pay rent to defray the cost of the finance of the project, but unlike typical lease arrangements, it will not be subject to increases every year. So for 25 years, the college will be able to model and create budgets based on a consistent, knowing lease each year. There is no question about the opportunity Quincy College provides. There is no question about its future potential. A state-of-the-art education facility at the doorstep of the Quincy MBTA station and adjacent to this beautiful park will ensure that the potential is captured and the opportunity it creates realized for generations of students, particularly those from Quincy. I believe in Quincy College, and I look forward to beginning the discussion with the City Council and the College Board of Governors on this proposal. The proposed location, a relocation of the city offices from the glass building while maintaining this historic building, Great Hall, as the council chamber, opens another door to potentially address a need long sought by members of our community, a first-class performing arts center and theater. In discussion after discussion, I've had in neighborhoods across the city and in survey after survey relating to our Quincy 400 community planning initiative, the residents of our city have made their voices clear. We need a place to see a show, see a concert, and see the work of our incredibly talented local performance and art groups, and even perhaps see a movie. The demolition of the glass edifice next door will potentially create the real estate needed by extending it over the tracks to site such a facility for what would be an ideal location. I've had preliminary discussions with a private party interested in investing in the design, construction, and maintenance of the facility, and this past year, I appointed a committee of local artists, advocates, and theater advocates, experts that will make recommendations to me on programming in the coming months. We have much to learn, But we know that whatever we build must be something able to sustain itself financially. This is a big idea, I understand that, and it's a long way from fruition, but we've matured so much in the city over these past years, and I believe we are ready. Our downtown is once again bustling, businesses are beginning to thrive, people are choosing to live in the heart of our downtown. A large commercially viable complex for performing arts is the logical next step. We're already the historic capital of our region. I see no reason why Quincy should not be the cultural capital south of Boston. The maturity I mentioned also relates to how we care for, celebrate, and enrich the history we all care so deeply about. The progress dates back decades now. First, from the John Adams statue pursued by the young people of our community decades ago, to the Quincy Partnership and their financing of the Lloyd Lilly sculpture of John and Abigail in the heart of our downtown, to Mayor Sheets working tirelessly to open the first National Park Service Visitor Center here in Quincy, to construction of the Hancock Adams Common, we've certainly come a long way. Not long ago, I realized that this progress related directly to the conversation I had with former Mayor Phelan several years ago about our city. He suggested that we as a city should move to get the John Adams book collection returned to Quincy. Adams explicitly left in his will and testament that these books were to be the gift to the people of Quincy, and they are housed. I could not agree more. It's time to move on that, Mayor. These books are a historic treasure containing Adams' handwritten notes and informing us of the thoughts of a man, perhaps more so than any other single individual who is responsible for the very concept of the United States. The books were loaned to the Boston Public Library many decades ago, precisely because someone thought at the time Quincy was not ready, that no one would visit Quincy to view them, and that we didn't have the proper facilities to care appropriately for them. Friends, I'm proud to say, thanks to the passion and hard work of a lot of people, these reasons no longer apply. That's why I plan to petition the Boston Public Library and the City of Boston to return the books to their rightful home here in Quincy and create a John Adams Presidential Library to be located at the Adams Academy building. In his letters to Abigail, he often referred to his home as that remarkable spot. That spot is Quincy. Adams was Quincy, and we are Adams. Quincy has some great treasures, including the old house and the birthplaces that the Adams family gifted to our nation. Let us now create what could be the crown jewel for the Presidential Library, honoring this unmatched dedication to a cause much larger than himself. And in what better location than the Adams Academy, built by his funds on the birthplace of his friend, John Hancock. We're ready. Let's bring the books home. As I close my remarks this morning, I am mindful of the people in this room and the work you do in our community. One of the most famous inaugural addresses, President John F. Kennedy said, "May God's work truly be our own." There is no better example of that than what happens at the local level. City employees, houses of worship, the business community, labor, nonprofits, and fraternal organizations, all providing hope and dignity to people in need. You've heard from Quincy police officer and Quincy kid, Paul Brown, and of his son, Quincy kid Aiden Brown, a U.S. Marine. I spoke of Quincy kid, firefighter John Christiani, and his remarkable example. I also want to mention two other Quincy kids. Quincy kid, 4-star General James McConville, the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army, coordinating the Army's efforts keeping the peace around the world. And serving in those U.S. Army ranks, Quincy kid, Sergeant Tom Lester with the 82nd Airborne Division out of Fort Bragg, who was deployed recently to the Middle East. I am quite aware that there are many Quincy kids serving our nation in the armed forces stationed all across the globe, protecting our freedoms and keeping the peace. Let us pray for their safe return home to their families. For all of us Quincy kids and those who have adopted Quincy, let us continue to make God's work truly our own. Thank you. May God bless the city of Quincy.